Okay, hello, I'm Scott Harness, and I am here to answer some questions. We did a doctrinal service this past weekend where we really went into what we believe, and it's generated a lot of questions. And one of the questions that I received, let me read it to you, is that you touched on a time when Jesus will call us home, when your soul will be reunited with your earthly body. I asked my wife in the car on the way home about this, and she said to ask you. I like that. That's good. My question is, why does the earthly body need to be reunited with the spirit if the soul has already taken its place in heaven, and heaven is a spiritual place? Why do we need to be reunited with our earthly forms? Is heaven going to be on earth? Will we have a need for our bodies again? And the answer to that question is we will need our bodies again, because God's ultimate arrival point for us is a new heaven and a new earth. And we're going to actually live on that new earth. God created us in the beginning in the garden. We were in a fleshly body. He formed the dirt of the ground, breathed in our nostrils. We became a living soul, the scripture says. And then we walked with God during that time. As we study the book of Revelation and elsewhere, what we discover is that God's bringing us back around to that spot where we're living in an earthly or a glorified body, if you will. Not just an earthly body, but a glorified body. But it is a physical body, not just a spiritual body. One of the misconceptions concerning heaven is that heaven is just a spiritual place, but it's not. Heaven, in fact, when we study it as far as the Scripture is concerned, it is a physical place where we will be here. In heaven, or on this new earth, when God recreates it, we're going to eat, we're going to sleep, we will drink, we will have meaningful activities. Heaven is not going to be some spiritual, energy place where floaty energy clouds sort of interact with each other. It will be a place where we will walk, we will talk, and we will interact with each other. Scripture says, it doth not yet appear what we shall be, but when He shall appear, we shall see Him as He is. The Scripture says that it's teaching us that we're going to be like Jesus. When Jesus got up from the dead in his 33-year-old resurrected body, the Scripture tells us that we're going to be like that. We will be in our physical bodies. Our bodies will be glorified, but they'll be physical. They won't be corruptible anymore. They will not be susceptible to sin like they have been, but they will be a physical body, and we'll be doing activities, meaningful activities. There's going to be work to be done in heaven. It's going to be enjoyable. There's going to be worship in heaven, not just spiritual things. Now, for right this moment, because heaven has not been established yet, that new heaven and that new earth are not here yet, that hasn't taken place. Right now, when someone dies, Paul says to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. That means that though when they die, their body, this fleshly, earthly body, is placed in the ground, their soul, at the very last breath on this earth, the very next breath in eternity, they are in the presence of God. If they're a believer, if they're a follower of Christ, they are with Christ in heaven spiritually, but their body is physically still here. One day, God's going to resurrect that body, and the soul that is with God is going to come together, and the two are going to meet. We're going to be glorified, and we're going to live forever in a physical body. Heaven's going to be a really cool place. This new heaven and new earth God's going to do is going to be really, really neat. It's not going to be some weird, strange, jumping around on a cloud kind of deal. It's going to be very much like what we have now. It's going to be very much like earth now, except there will be no sin, there will be no sorrow, there will be no pain, and there will be no Satan, there will be no tempter, there will be no temptation. We'll be able to enjoy each other and enjoy God in a very real and physical sense. We'll still enjoy community, time together. That's the reason why we tell people that when you come to church, one of the things you're doing is you're preparing for eternity. It's dress rehearsal for forever. And so us getting along and understanding how to love each other and stand in the gap with each other, all are critically important. So we will live in a physical body. And so that's the reason why that our body is resurrected and our soul meets with our body in the air. And we're going to be with the Lord in a physical place called a new heaven and a new earth. It's going to be an amazing thing.